Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on September 14th, 2023. You are live with Doug and Quinston. We are here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and just make sure that you're getting the best out of TimeBolt. We do have some new updates to 6.0.2 that we'll review a little bit later. But I do know first, is it McKay?
Mika.
Thanks for joining us today. I wanted to get you in first. Can you explain a little bit about what the issue that you're having is?
Yes, I do car videos, AI noise reduction, or I don't know if it's AI but anyways, the noise reduction doesn't do anything really.
Can you show us?
Yeah, sure. You see my
Yep, we can see it.
Cancel here. Example here. So for example, this is something that should be cut out.
TimeBolt wasn't made to be flying in a jet engine, flying with a jet, and then it'll still work. You'll be able to still do it.
Yeah,
We don't have a noise removal tool, right? It's not
here is noise reduction.
Sure.
Maybe restart first.
Yeah, you have to restart.
Do one thing before you do the noise reduction. Also do volume increase, normalization. Do all three of those.
Okay. And restart.
Yeah, restart. Yeah. We got to go to the settings. Do 0.5 as your.
This one.
Yeah, if you scroll down, make it 0.5. Okay, and then click on update silence detection.
And that right padding is really. See that right padding?
The right padding is there because in Final Cut it often cuts out. So I often leave the beginning of the word is missing.
One thing that TimeBolt is built for is TimeBolt is not a transcription app, right? Really know the words. It works on the sound waves itself. When you are recording in a car, there's a lot of background noise. TimeBolt is not able to automatically remove the background noise because it treats it like any other sound, right? So what's going to happen now is this is not going to perform very well if there's a lot of noise in the car. Yeah. I think you do car reviews or that sort of video, right? So if you want to use TimeBolt for this purpose, right, you'll need to find a way to remove that background noise, find the sound. There's only a threshold up to which the noise reduction can work. It's not going to be perfect, right? Yeah, let's try one more thing before we jump to conclusion. Let's try one more thing.
Yep.
That is by going into the settings and turning off the normalization. Let's try that once. Let's see if there's any improvement and restart the app. What I would recommend is if you want to use TimeBolt for this purpose, I think there might be a way by using something called Adobe Podcast. Okay, let's see now. Increase it to 28. One way that we could use TimeBolt for this purpose is by using something like Audacity to take the sound, the words that are spoken, and make sure that only those are available in the file. So what you can do is one method that could be rip out the audio from this video file, take the audio out completely, export the audio, take that audio, put it in Adobe Podcast, that app over there, Adobe Podcast, that's an app you can put in there.
I tried that. I actually did try that, but I couldn't figure out a method to do that. It was, I don't remember anymore. But anyways, for example, the default voice isolation in Pro does really good job on this.
That could work too. One way to get it back into Final Cut Pro is by using the multicam thing. So instead of just relying on the video, you can go to the bottom, you put the WAV file, right? When you do Adobe Podcast, you'll get a WAV file. That WAV file, you drop it into TimeBolt, export it out as a multicam XML, FCP XML. And you can take that multicam FCP XML, bring it back into Final Cut Pro and add the video to that multicam so that it will take the same cuts as that of the audio.
I understand. Yes. I could actually try to do that.
I just want to make sure you understand that TimeBolt is not meant for where there's a lot of background noise. Usually it's meant for sound quiet. It can take up some background noise, but if it's the background noise very intense, it's not going to work. And that's just a limitation of the software.
So, I'm putting our tutorial for FCP multicam in the chat box where you can find it under the features tab as well.
Yeah, actually I have used the.
Hey, can you go back to TimeBolt? I'm interested in one thing real quick. Can you just drop this thing down to minus 25 or something?
Okay, let's try it. Yeah, I guess it looks better.
I don't know, there's that looks better.
Yeah, one rule to remember is that if you go more negative, right? If you go more negative, you're going to capture more. If you go less negative, if you go minus 22, minus 20, minus 19, it's going to capture less. So the more you go negative, it's going to capture more, the less. So it's an opposite. So minus 20, you can even try minus 20, minus 19 until you get that sweet spot.
I could try the multicam thing with using the same file. That's actually a good idea because even Final Cut Pro does really good job with the voice isolation.
That's the only limitation here. Once you get the sound right, it's going to be perfect. Yeah.
All right, but even this actually minus 19 looks.
What's in that? Is that
the thing is, you might need. Yeah, I think some of these sounds you still would want because when you're revving the car.
Well, these are electric cars. They have really no revving sounds, but
it's just the tires.
Still just the tires, but it should be. I assume Porsche should be high quality. Yeah, Taycan Cross to Max. This video is about that.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult one. It sounds like using multicam is what's going to be helpful.
Two things. One is by removing by making sure the audio has less background noise. That could be done via Final Cut Pro, audio podcasts, Adobe podcasts, or even Audacity. I think Audacity also has a tool which does that, which is a free version of. Then by using multicam to bring those two clips together.
Use the multicam for an actual multicam user as a workaround as well. Thank you for the tips.
One question I do have for you is Umcheck is one of the features we have for transcription of that file. Transcription is not included in the base version of TimeBolt, but there is an extra cost for Umcheck. But the flip side is that Umcheck gives you the location of the words. Thanks
you for your help.
Thanks for choosing TimeBolt. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later. When it comes to Umcheck accuracy, I've been working to post as many places as I can about the accuracy Umcheck. Did you say you got a chance to look at the one from Google?
But I didn't find any ums and ahs in it. It's just the transcription.
Well, no,
they didn't give me any ums.
Oh, they didn't? Google one?
At least not the one that I tested. Maybe there is a different model that they have, but the one that I tested didn't have.
And that's because again, we were with Umcheck. A lot of people are asking, hey, here's my, it's showing 50 ums, right? And it's catching 10. And when, luckily, about 40% of those have some additional filler word next to it. So as I'm looking through there, I'm like, hey, look, you said that, those things in combination. I didn't know somebody had mentioned about Google's transcripts being really accurate with us. And of course, no one knows.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check. If there are files like that, then I'd like to see them. Because the only way, if there's an and it's not getting canceled out, then the reason for that is that is really small. Like the amount of time that is going to remove is going to be, it might be in between a sentence, which is going to cause a lot of issues. There are reasons why that is not getting cut out, which might cause a lot of problems in the video file itself.
A little could be that big, and
even if the is in a transcript, the reason it doesn't get cut out is because it might cause other issues in the cuts. Because if the cut is too small, you don't want if you're going through a sentence and you say in the middle, and then you start speaking quickly, and if there's a cut in the middle, that might be a very big issue. You don't want to stop somebody in the middle of a sentence and add a cut there, and that's programmed inside.
That's not us making that creative decision. That is if a transcripts were accurate, then let them cut them out wherever they are. You know what I'm saying? Like the is this long, this is a certain amount width, and it's coming in at 1/10 the size of that.
One issue with that is that if there are 50 ums, right? If there are 50 ums in a file, 30 of them are in between a sentence, and then we just hard cut all of them. Now, while you're speaking, you might have glitches while people are speaking. When you say in a sentence, like I just said right now, right? In a sentence, there might be a glitch while I'm talking because the is embedded inside a sentence, and taking that out might just cause the whole video to glitch.
I see.
So
we don't do that. We don't
cut that out. Yeah,
we're not that's just kind of backfilling in. We're not making those creative decisions. It's because transcript accuracy. If the happens to be long enough that it actually registers as a sound inside the word tokens, that's when it gets cut out.
I'm not saying that. That's not the only time it gets cut out.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying. When it's in between a sentence, it doesn't get cut out because you don't want the person to glitch out and glitch his face. If when you're speaking, right, you micro move your head, and when you're in between a sentence, you just drop an If you cut that out, it could glitch the whole flow of the words. So if we don't cut that out,
how do you control that in a?
There are thresholds set on the start of a sentence and the end of a sentence, and then if there's an in between that sentence, you check how far away the next word is, and if the word is really close, you don't cut that out.
Oh, I didn't know that. And we just did that. Did we ever test it with?
We have had that from the start.
We've tested it where it removes. I thought the problem is that the happen. It looks like this on the waveform, but the way the cut tokens work, 1/100th of a millisecond, but actually cut out the middle of the right? It didn't get the whole It got the you know what I'm saying? There's a
No, it's both. It's both.
Because it was a threshold of you have to be.
It's not just one of those things. It's both of those things. So an can be really small, which overrides its ability to be kept, and the could be embedded inside a sentence, very close to two other sentences, which also enables it to be kept.
Okay, here let me show you what we're looking at here. For example, let me share a screen. This is So these are not getting cut out for him.
If you can see excellent or winner, those two, that will not get cut because that is that's like in the middle of a sentence. Usually the ums that do get cut out are at the start of a sentence because you have a big long pause and then you say the word. If it's embedded inside the middle of a sentence, it's not going to get cut out.
And that's because we've creates too jolting of a cut.
It causes a twitch in the person's video, which is not, you don't want the video to twitch.
Because what's interesting, if you had these removed, you could see Lakers to bring to the table, learning more about this, not the flashy. You know what I'm saying? It does make sense without those in there. You're saying it creates too much of a jump.
Yeah, it's going to create way too many cuts.
Oh, I thought it, because then you have to recombine the cuts, because then you also don't know if 50% of those are also micro cuts as well. So that's what I didn't understand. Is like I thought it was just a limitation I thought it was just a limitation on the length. Okay.
So if an is too small, it's not going to get cut because it makes no sense. If it's embedded in the middle of a sentence, it's still not going to get cut because you don't want the twitching to happen. Because if there are too many the video is going to twitch too much, and that could cause a big issue.
Well, I would almost, it almost comes down to creative decision by the person too, because some people aren't going to, that's not going to matter to. If they're saying a lot of it's almost like if that was the case, you could just remove the word as a standalone if it was creating too many cuts, because then you could focus on this. I didn't know. Is that something that maybe we could go back and revisit that one particular?
Sure. If the requirement is to remove all no matter what it calls, we can do that.
I'd like to test it. I've got some and files and stuff that's working on. I'd really like to test that personally. If there's some way around that.
This decision was taken because something happened. I don't remember exactly what happened. This was added because of something that happened. So I don't exactly remember why this decision was taken, but this was an active request, which is why it was added. Because
we were saying it created too many cuts.
There was a reason why this is the way it is. It's not
totally.
Yeah.
No, we tested this quite thoroughly. I just would like to do that one more time because it is kind of the thrust of everything that I'm explaining. If you don't mind, let's test that one more time, and I have some files, and I will be able to fully say, hey, look, if we keep this in here, it's going to result in too many cuts. You got 1,000 different little micro cuts, and it doesn't work that way. I'd like to go in with that conviction. Awesome. Let's see. We've got some new people that joined us on the line. Now, is it our Smooth Passion?
That's me. I'm Tom.
Hey, hi.
How you doing, Tom? That's right.
Pretty good. I've used your software before and helped some YouTubers because I work with a bunch of YouTubers, and I also do programming. I'm a full stack dev. I've helped some of them use your software, and they're like, "Hey, that's pretty neat. Like how you could do that." I got your email, and I did have a question about a feature. Maybe it's just me that has the issue with it, but I had a question about: is there a workaround on a slightly annoying, I consider it a bug, but it's probably not a bug. It's probably just a personal issue. So I don't know how this works. Can I just ask my question? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Just let us know what type of content you make and what the issue is, for sure.
I do, like I said, mainly YouTube videos. Sometimes like corporate will want like their own videos. How I encourage people is just freely talk. My process works is TimeBolt, and I'll use it where it'll chop apart videos, and I just go through and I'll keep like looking at what areas like I want to cut. So I'll say something when I'm recording, and then I'll be like, or when someone else is recording, and then I keep the camera rolling. I know to cut that part, I just listen to like do the shift key and the arrow to just jump to the next green section. When I get to the next green section, that's the one we want, keep it all that. The problem that I have is sometimes the videos are 10, 20 minutes, even an hour long. And what happens is the bar that when I'm scrolling it, when I pause sometimes, it's a optical illusion or like where the bar looks still moving because my eyes are so used to the bar moving. I didn't know if there was a way to get it how Adobe has like when you're looking at the time thing where like the thing just plays. Because when you have it where, I don't know, like Mario, how Mario has like the thing scrolling like from the right to the left. When I'm watching that as I'm scrolling through, my eyes, like even when I'm looking at the thing, it looks still moving, even when I know it's not moving because it's paused. The way that's designed, I didn't know if there was any type of way of I know that I could probably just export it to Adobe and then cut from there. I just like the interface better of the jumping from the green sections and stuff like that. I didn't know if there's like a technique or something that I could do better, because it is a bit frustrating to use when it's when it looks still moving like that. I don't know if
So
anyone else.
when you say it looks,
I could just have it where I could zoom out more maybe and just have the bar, like have a single line bar just move across versus the background moving. Because when the background moving, that's what causes the optical illusion, and it's very.
So it is designed, as you said earlier, it is we did try out that portion where the bar moves. The problem was getting ahead. Like for TimeBolt, the way TimeBolt's editing works, it's very important it's very important to know what's coming next, which is why it's centered on the screen. So whenever you use TimeBolt and you play something, it's always centered on the bar. The playhead is always centered in the middle of the screen.
Where you could like the pinch bar, I don't know what you call it, but where there's a pinch bar where you could like just have it where you could pull out more. Because if I could pull out more and have it where it's maybe smaller, it just, or even where if the background just changed, like where it was like where it changes images, that would be fine too. Because the amount of time that you have even in 1 minute clip, probably like I don't know 10 times or so that you're watching the thing recycle, and it's
what if you can I don't know, but I don't think that would help. Like speed up the preview, maybe that would help. Try that.
Then that would make it even worse, because then watching the thing go by even quicker, it's just hard on the eyes. I didn't know if there's
it would be really hard to change it now because like every customer is used to it. It's really hard to retrospectively like change it. But let me see if I can
well,
add
at least with like an
export
on Adobe. Like what I was wondering, is there some way, and that's why I said I don't know if I'm just maybe not using it properly, because I know you have a way to like export the cuts to Adobe. Is there a way where we could somehow highlight them or something when it gets exported to Adobe? You could still have the green and the red with the scrolling that I'm used to that doesn't make me dizzy while still keeping the cuts. Like I don't know how to do that, and I was trying to look through the tutorials and I couldn't figure it out.
My question would be is, as opposed, like you're looking right now at a scroll bar that's going by. What if there was a scroll bar plus text where you've got two different focal points? Quinton's going to show you how easy it is to click a button and say, keep both cuts, right? And do all your cut work inside Adobe Premiere. But obviously we believe that you're going to be able to do it faster inside TimeBolt, like because of our quick keys and how it's edited. So our typical advice is do all your cut work inside TimeBolt and then export to Premiere, because you've got things like fast forward, you've got things like creating chapter markers for YouTube. There's some real utility inside TimeBolt that's beyond just cutting out silence. My question would be is if you've got right that allows you to see before and after, if that would help with your eyes.
So this is TimeBolt, right? And you see how it centers.
So if you just stare at it, like if you even like let it play for like a minute, like if you just stare at the thing and like it keeps scrolling, like if you're watching and it scrolls. Well, yours moves slower, I guess. Then
you can set the preview speeds faster.
Yeah, but when you have it like faster, then I guess what the thing is then like if you stare at it and you're staring at that for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, even once it pauses, because you've been watching an image that just keeps scrolling to the left, it like makes it where.
Let me just show you how to export it then. You have the video in TimeBolt, then you can go to the bottom over here. There's an option called XML, right? You click on that, it brings up a file. It's called an XML file. And what you do with that file is you just take it and you drop it into Premiere.
Okay.
And that's it.
But it's not colored.
And you scroll to the bottom and it says create splits, but don't delete the silence. You check this, and now if you export an XML, the different file now, just delete this part. You have the red and you have the silences and the ones which.
So I was maybe just using it wrong.
No, we encourage you to do all your cut work.
I feel like now that you mention it, maybe it is a time to like have custom colors for this.
So hard on my eyes, and I know that like maybe some people it's not, but it's just like when you're editing like 10 hours worth of videos, which I know some people do, they're like I can't do the scrolling thing, and I'm like, I recommended the software to them. I do the consulting, I do the web design, I do the video edits, and then we have a ADA compliant company where we help, because there's a lot of ADA compliant companies that say they work, but honestly none of the widgets are. We have it where we have the developers and the widget that we built for a very low. We have both, and then we also have Mellow Tool, which is it's basically like a video, it's a chatbot, it's a knowledge base, all in one type of tool that helps convert sales on sites. So we got a lot of use that we're trying to do with it. Part of that, when people are like, hey, how could you help me do my YouTube better, things like that, TimeBolt is one of those like go-tos that I've used on Toe Piglet's channel before.
Nice.
And Toe Piglet, if you look at him, his name's Alex, but he was a client of mine who he had a lot of edits, and like there would just be these pauses and stuff. This just worked beautifully. I couldn't get anything else to work as good as this worked. Like this was honestly one of the best softwares I used. That's why I still use it. I was talking to Arliss at Arliss Gamer. I invited him onto your things.
Nice.
He's a content creator on multi-platform, kind of follows Mr. Beast algorithm. He's one of the people that I was telling about your guys' stuff. So I told him to jump on the call. He's new to your software, but he does a lot of editing on multiple platforms.
No,
Multiple platforms, as in like Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, or Instagram, YouTube. Which platforms are we talking about?
So I'm on all of them.
Okay.
so you had a lot of talking head video, I assume.
So there's a lot of videos where I might be reacting to an event and then talking about that event. There could be a video of me just talking about something random, like a true crime event, something that interests people. So things like that, pop culture content, really.
Well, Quinston, is there any way that you could just kind of run through for reaction videos? It's something that we've never really talked about before on you had a method to actually edit reaction videos by doing
Actually forgot what that was.
It's really kind of,
when you say reaction videos, like Twitch?
I have a huge thing against those type of people, but I love to actually edit them and add some context to them.
Like XQC style.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
No?
No.
So what other content is there that is reaction type? But the only one I know is the XQC one.
Well, movie reviews or movie critiques.
Okay.
You are watching a few clips, and then you're talking about like the psychology of a hero. Like, why did Batman choose to say or keep Harvey Dent innocent, even though he became Two-Face? I go deep.
Understood. TimeBolt is perfect for those sort of videos. Yeah.
And just to be clear, does it like automatically edit the dead parts out?
Yeah, that's what I'm showing over here, right? The red part is basically the silent part.
It's XML because I was telling him that it makes my eyes like hallucinate that the thing's still moving. So he showed how you could export it into Adobe with the color coordination.
Just run through it again.
But can I skip forward? You know how you in TimeBolt where you could shift forward? Can you do that in Adobe still with it, or is that the one limitation of putting it?
It's like any other cut file. Any other cut file is non-destructive. It doesn't re-render the video. It just makes an XML file.
He's saying, he's asking, can you use the quick keys that we use that make TimeBolt so fast to edit with inside Premiere?
No.
That's the thing. That's what we're trying to understand. What's an equilibrium? Because you're not going to be able to edit inside Premiere nearly as fast as you can inside TimeBolt. And if you try and do this stuff in Premiere, the very features that also keep you from having to watch your video. Let's say you're editing hours of video. That means if are you doing chapter markers for YouTube? If you don't edit in TimeBolt, like right now, you will save however long your video is. If you just use chapter markers for YouTube, you can type them directly into TimeBolt. If you want to show him.
Let me show them. No? Let me show how that works. So you have a video over here. This video is like a completely raw video. I just open it in TimeBolt, and what TimeBolt does is it processes it and creates these cuts. So this green part is where the sound was spoken. This is where it was spoken. Nothing was spoken over here. There was a pause. Something was spoken here. Nothing was spoken here. So it generates these auto cuts where you can export these cuts directly to a rendered file or into XML or Premiere Pro. Now, if I play it,
create new playlist. I'm going to label mine external playlist. Now you want to go in and edit descriptions and the permissions. You'll add a description. You can make a playlist internal or external.
As you can see, it was a jump cut. We took like a completely random file and automatically created jump cuts, which you would have to do manually in Premiere Pro. So if you want to see the output in Premiere Pro, I'm just going to show you that. So from TimeBolt, this took literally 10 seconds. Then I come at the bottom over here and there's this button called XML. So what this is going to do is it's going to take those cuts, create an XML file, which you can then import into Premiere. So I'm going to click this button over here. It's going to create a file. I'm going to click on this, go to my file explorer, take that file and drop it in directly into the media pool. And then I'm going to open that up, and that's the cut up file. So this basically does all your cut out automation. And then you can, I'd say you can edit in TimeBolt too. If you want to, let's say you're going through and you don't want this entire cut. I'm just going to press the O key and it just turns it off. You don't have to see that ever again.
I'm going to label mine external playlist.
I don't want this part. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, create a cut in the middle over here, press my B key to basically remove that. And then I'm going to go to the next cut. And
now you want to go in and edit descriptions and the permissions. You'll add a description.
There's a so over there. I don't want that so. I'm going to create an S, B cut. You can edit literally by using your keyboard. You don't have to ever touch your mouse. You can literally go through with your keyboard. So I can take this part.
SOB.
I'm turning off these cuts really fast. I'm pressing shift, going fast. Pressing S, pressing B. You can really jump through the timeline very, very fast.
I got an email,
and
that's why I'm here.
Unlike these plugins that may come native with Premiere, you edit a lot of different types of content, right? Arliss, You're going to want to learn how to use TimeBolt because no matter what platform that you use to export and whether you're making shorts, you don't lose any time with TimeBolt. We don't just automatically make these creative decisions. You can do additional things. Like, do you mind if I show them something real quick, Quincy?
Sure, I'll stop sharing.
Here, let me blow through this real quick.
Doug, you're always on your email though, because I've emailed you a few times when because I typed the wrong email for like the order and I was locked out of the account. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. And then you like find right away. I'm like, is that a bot? But then it was like, no, it's not a bot. It's really,
I was always on call.
It's good to see the passion.
I know it sucks, man. Like if you can't get into the account you just paid for, we didn't want you to have that first mile experience there. But remember the keys that Quincy was saying, SOB. The first thing you're going to do, you drop your file in, you're going to put this playback at 1.5x. And Quincy, I'm making a new intro video, okay, that goes through this. When people download, they know exactly what they're getting. You remember the keys SOB? We've gone through that. The first thing is like, imagine when you're going through and you hear like this is a topic that you're talking about. What you're going to do is you're going to type in chapter markers. This is chapter 1. They can be as long as you want. You hit mark cut. This is the only thing that you use your actual keyboard for, okay? So you go down and you're like, okay, it's chapter 2, mark cut. Oh, what you're talking about as you do it. Like this is chapter 3. Because like I'm making Zoom video and it would suck because you get done and then now all of a sudden you got to go back and find where your cuts are when every dead air is cut out. Now you got to be super precise. That just sucks to watch your whole video again, right? So imagine you've got as many of these as you want and you do all of your cut work inside TimeBolt. You don't, if you're going to export, you don't add or take away time in those in Premiere or whatever NLE you use, right? What I do is I go download markers text file.
Oh, wow.
And what this is this is the most beautiful thing. It's a copy paste. Boom.
The hell?
And
wow.
copy paste it, put it right into the description of YouTube, right? No one has that. And it's not AI generated or like, because these are time codes, right? It's not like a summary, getting the transcripts. This is our precise time codes that what you want to say. Yes, that's how you do markers. If I'm doing something long format like this, like these Zoom calls, if you go look at our previous office hours, what I do is I do activate turbo mode. And I usually who doesn't want to talk 12% faster, especially when you're dealing with heavy information videos. This increases the speed by 1.125x. Obviously, if you're going to increase the speed by 1.125x, all of a sudden your markers would be off by 12%, right? So you've got a new way to download markers text file for turbo mode or add to render queue. It'd be just like you combining all of it into compound clip and speeding up the speed. But what's great about TimeBolt, it doesn't speed up your voice. For some reason, magic, Quincy won't explain it to me, is that it's the one thing you want to explain. It doesn't speed up your voice, right? You don't sound like a chipmunk. You just sounds natural, surprisingly.
Audacity has a feature like that too, where Audacity could change the tempo but keep the Audacity has a.
They copied us. They copied us.
Audacity is really old.
I know. I'm sure Quincy doesn't claim, but whatever.
I think I was using Audacity when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, same.
The audacity of me to say that. And what's also nice, you cut all the dead air, and this isn't based on transcriptions. This is based on algorithms, TimeBolt. The reason why you were looking at some of these other products and you end up exporting to XML and your cuts aren't precise, words are getting cut off, that's because transcripts are inherently inaccurate. And that's what there's TimeBolt that uses algorithms, and there's everyone else that uses transcripts. And we're working on content that really brings that to light. Why TimeBolt? The second thing is that you don't lose time. As you can see, it's not like this is just gone. So that means if you're doing, let's say you're doing tutorials where you like the mouse click movements matter, like between workflows or something like that, you don't have to only just cut. You can also do fast forward silences, and you can automate that as well. So let's say that anything less than 3 seconds, I'm going to say was a mouse movement where I'm like, you go to file and it drops down. You go to basically that I put 3 seconds here, right? I want to speed it up by up to 4x or slow it down. This is the only place you can slow time down in TimeBolt. You can mute it or unmute it, right? I usually leave it unmuted. Now all the cuts that are less than 3 seconds are sped up by 2 or 3 or 4. You just see them right on the board, right? That's fast forward. You add the chapter markers and turbo into the mix. You've got either video you can render right to your computer or export as Quinston was showing. And our goal is that you don't use the keep cuts, but only mark cuts, right? We're hoping to provide enough value and speed inside TimeBolt that if you're going to design, it is strictly for using those for design editors, not adding or subtracting time. The second thing that I'd like to show you, since you do make a lot of different types of content, do you ever make just like, do you do like Loom videos and stuff like that?
I do that stuff as well, because I have a separate channel just for educational content.
Great. Well, we've got you covered on that too. Check this out. You got screen recorder. Simply open up your screen recorder. I'll do like my first screen. Just here, I'm going to just start recording so I get some content going. Yeah, right now I'm just recording, but there's no big innovation right up here. You're just selecting your camera input, your audio input, what screen that you want. What's really cool is you start getting some unique features with TimeBolt. You can either capture as a standard, quick and small, or highest quality. quality. Are you going to upload this to YouTube, or do you want to just send it out to a one-on-one video message? This right here, this thumbnail,
video viewport.
no, this is another innovation. This moves up and down. I can make this thing a little thumbnail, put it anywhere I want. And then what's cool is, like with TimeBolt, you stop talking, go to full screen, start talking again, go have a conversation. Then now you start talking again. What you'll notice, I'm going to hit stop recording. Let's save video. You save it by whatever file name you want. Okay, we're doing standard, quick, and small. What this is doing right now, this time is being used to convert that from a variable frame rate file to a constant frame rate at a bit rate. It asks, are you sure you want to push this in? It'll auto kick into TimeBolt, okay?
What's crazy, this is way better than OBS, because in OBS you have to...
Oh, you selected the wrong mic.
I did the wrong mic. I did my wrong... Oh, shit.
Well, I was going to say, in OBS, you have to switch the scene. You have to create that camera scene to even be able to switch. But I love that you could just click the full screen and then bam, it's right there.
You're saying full screen, right? Stop talking.
Yeah.
And then you go full screen and then you stop talking.
Loom, if you have 4K monitors like I do here, you have to dumb it down in order to get Loom to come in crisp and stuff. With this tool right here, you don't have to do any of that stuff. I can run this thing at 4K and the thing comes in perfectly crisp.
So imagine I just recorded that inside and it auto pushed into TimeBolt. Okay. This is our standard quality small. Now you can go through, do your edits. You're not going to see the going back and forth, but it's a nice, decent file. What I would say is within 3 clicks, you can cut 85% of the stuff that makes you hate the sound of your own voice. Right here, you could go in and I could run Umcheck, start audio transcription. I don't know how long this file is. I'll have to.
Oh, wow. It cuts the ums out.
Yes. So we use the algorithms, cut all the sound waves to give you like a real clean palette cut. And then the transcriptions are used over the top of those existing, the precise cuts to then go in and find filler words. And so this is a pay for service, 50 cents for every 10 minutes, because we have to pay for the transcriptions. These aren't just like whisper transcriptions where that's pretty fast, right? And the word combinations really seem to work real well. You'd simply do split timeline, turn off the words. Again, I have not edited anything yet, right? That was 3 clicks and all your dead air ums and ahs are gone. 85% of the ums and ahs. At this point, what I always do, especially because I send like one-to-one video messages, I throw turbo on it. If I send it to Quinston, I'm putting on 1.4x. And then what I'll do here is smooth passion. Okay. And then what I do here is render and create a public link. Okay. These are 5 clicks. Yeah, there's something. I'll send you that error log file, Quinston. I think after I use it like 100 times when I use the recorder, that's why whenever you do any new recording, just do it once, right? Just get on, do a mic check, just make sure everything's just running, because you may need to turn TimeBolt off, or you never know, like you're picking the wrong audio source like I did. What this does is you're able to very smooth. I'm talking like if this would have worked right away, I can hit copy my link right here. And what it does is it opens up. That's legit. That's legit speed. Now you've got your Anthony. How you doing, man? Hey, I just wanted to just send a quick watchable video to you. You're going to be able to see our exact workflow. I'm going to include the bottom. That's our standard quick model. So instead of having a 300 gig file, you have something that's megabits.
And then it's automatically watched just from its own link.
Yeah,
that was somebody. Legit. That was legit. All that was legit.
That's insane, actually. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, the 5 clicks, and you cut all the stuff that makes you hate the sound of your own voice. It's already, why not achieve perfection, even when you're sending to a friend, right? Because it's so easy to cut scenes out, and when you go on the record, it's your neck on the line. It's your neck on the line.
Especially if you got a client and you need the speed. This is perfect.
They'll get this and they'll think, as Quinston was saying, these are one-on-one video messages that look like they could be on YouTube, right? Like you're turning every employee into a YouTuber. Our goal with this becomes an on-ramp for new editors. If you're teaching people how to edit, there's nothing like being able to talk into a screen recorder and with your voice and getting the mic right, and then having all that stuff cut out and see that, like, oh wow, I can look like the video I watch. I don't need to be smarter than real life. Edit work does that, and you don't, like, literally by touching 5 buttons, you're able to see that, and hopefully that encourages people. Okay, I think I'll learn with a couple more buttons. SOB, right? Now I can be real perfect, and now I've got all this going on. I can start adding graphics on the screen, and then maybe now is a good time to learn how to use Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, or to add some more flash. That's kind of that's our goal right there. You can also, the last part of this that I'll show you, since you also make short form content. So markers serve 2 functions. One is to create chapter markers for YouTube. after you get done with that swath, right? You got all your dead air cut and all that kind of stuff. Let me show you. Let me just go ahead and render this video. So obviously your stuff for your phone doesn't need to be 4K 10-bit video, right? Like it's just
I have my phone that shoots that, but it doesn't really.
So just imagine that this was my cut video, right? Now I throw my cut video back into TimeBolt. There's no dead air in this video, but this is all just the best takes. What I typically do, you don't have to do this because of the quick keys, but I usually put this at like, I go from 0.5 to 0.2, hit update silence detection settings. Now what that does is that just creates some like splits in the timeline to kind of give you some cuts, because now what you can do is you can use markers to go in and actually whittle down like a triangle to create your shorts. Watch.
Hey, I just wanted to send a quick watch.
So this is, let's say that this is important, right?
Video to you. You're going to be able to see our exact workflow.
You press the M key to mark the
You
cut.
just hit the M key, right? Hit the M key. As I'm going through,
Basically, it's stop recording.
I can hit M, and if I just want to keep half of the sentence,
and then the standard small. This is going to.
I could just hit S, and then I just come back here and hit M. Okay, and let's say that this was important. This is important. But now what I do is I have keep only mark cuts. I go like this, and it's going to tell you if you want to keep only mark cuts, make sure you hit Command Z to undo that command once you do. Okay, keep only mark cuts turns all the other scenes off to where all you have is your mark cuts. Now let's just imagine we live in a world where your shorts could only see how it says output duration 22 seconds right here. Let's say that your world, you can only have a 20-second, okay, film, okay, like a 20-second video, like a minute a limitation, and it's a minute too, okay? What you can do now is I go to activate turbo mode. This right here, I want to limit it to 20 seconds. That means it's going to speed that up, the whole thing, by 1.109 seconds. When you have something that's important, you don't have to then go back and say, oh man, I'm 3 seconds over, but everything was important, right? You don't need to do that. All you do, I can now, what I do here, okay, instead of just adding a render queue, what I do right now, I do export clips to a folder, okay? And I'll show you what this does.
Let's create a new folder. Yeah.
New folder, new test for clips, select folder. There we go. What we have here, this new test for clips. Now, each one of our cuts is made into a special little, it's its own file, right?
So basically, it's stop recording.
Let's say, I have a question. So let's say I throw a 1080p by 1920 clip in here, short form format. Just throw it in TimeBolt, and I want to do, I can do that same feature on a video, pretty much, what you just showed me.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It'll keep your aspect resolution. That's what's important. Is that
Okay, that's what
like if I shoot my video on my iPhone, it's coming out the size of an iPhone or for mobile. Now, this is the thing. I just downloaded CapCut, and we're making a very clear shorts workflow. But now the benefit of this, how we talked about how transcriptions are just inherently inaccurate, right? Well, what you do is you drop you just literally select all and drop, and they'll all go in sequential order inside CapCut. Now, what they are, you have a bunch of mini files, and now those mini files, they're going out and pulling the sentences from their free Whisper AI. And now all of a sudden, you're not in these editors pulling over transcripts trying to figure out where one starts and where one ends. It saves so much time just adding freaking transcripts that you do it with this workflow, and you go from one long Zoom call or one long Riverside down to a minute long in shorts and something for YouTube, all within one software platform. So that's how to use TimeBolt for that whole content pyramid.
Yeah, and that's my goal. My goal is to save as much time as possible, because my content doesn't have to be the greatest as far as like video quality in the world. I just need something that can help me with output, because that'll just help me grow faster.
I was doing a video for a pitch video, for example. There's so much video that where people are asked to do a project for work, 10th graders for class, do talking head on YouTube. I was doing a pitch video, and I had to get my iPhone. It was like they wanted it portrait type mobile for mobile viewers. I had to record that. Is there a way inside TimeBolt, if you are sending an iPhone video through the iPhone video port, everything like your screen, all of it just focuses in on a aspect ratio that is of your iPhone? So you could legitimately record your iPhone, what you're saying, right through TimeBolt in the recorders, that I wouldn't need to do it on my phone and then export it to my computer and then have to worry about the audio levels and all that shit, right? Because it would all be controlled. Would that be helpful, Arliss?
I think that would be helpful. It just depends on the context.
Very true.
I'll have to look into it.
That was the context that I was facing, because it forced me to, okay, I'm just going to do it with my phone, hook up the Rode wireless mic and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, man, wouldn't that be slick if you're not making all iPhone video walking around in a forest somewhere or on a street? Yeah. Like a lot of it's just right there in your, or again, how do we make it to where it only records an aspect ratio that is that might be
Yeah.
the best solution.
Yeah, for short, I think for shorts, like if you could, that would be like super amazing.
Just make it to where it's a aspect ratio, whether it's wide or what they call it, mobile.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could do this, but I know that it would be super useful if you guys could figure out how to make a long form video, like collapse into a short form video. Like maybe the camera that you guys have recording, if you could figure out how to move that camera there and then have it a way where they can adjust the top of where that camera is, like it could just automatically combine it together, if that makes sense. That'd be kind of cool. Because a lot of times I want to repost my informational videos as shorts, but the biggest problem is it's long form. And if my camera's over here, how would I be able to slide and adjust my video? I have to edit that.
100%. That's what we were talking about, was that if it's possible, choose that aspect ratio. Whatever's going on in your screen, and whether it's long form, you could size that thing down. You could size that thing down in a video player or with a web page to where it's capturing the middle of the content or whatnot. And then you could take, because we're not some circle, right? You could take TimeBolt's viewport, right? And then just put it up over the top. So anything that's outside of this grayed area would be what's being captured. So you could make it look like you just edited it somewhere else, but you actually captured it on a computer screen with the parts up and bottom, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because
that'd be
then you could drop that, you could edit it, drop it right into CapCut and get your free transcriptions. Like, because we're saying Cap because it's free, right? And it's also on a computer. But that TimeBolt would theoretically be the only like paid service that you need for a lot of this stuff.
I know a lot of creators that would kill for the service you guys have too, just because it just cuts time. So a lot of times, editing is 3 to 4 hours. But what's the point of that if you can cut most of the and the dead parts and cut your time to half by maybe 30 minutes to an hour, maybe even less?
Absolutely. And I think once you kind of like look into it, you're going to see there's other competitors out there. But when it comes to like our technology, what makes us proprietary is the fact that we use the algorithms as opposed to transcripts. And what you'll find with those other solutions, they're probably focused on one type of content. Like if you script your video, like this is how it's work it. With TimeBolt, you've got across the spectrum of use cases, more precise cuts. We're certainly looking at ways like we know capture, getting people involved in video, like that's the on ramp first. We're gonna continue focusing on that capture piece of it.
Just thought of wondering, how many customers do you have, and what's your dream with TimeBolt? Because it seems like you've been doing it for a few years. Like, what's your dream that you're trying to do with it, and like how's that relate to like how when you originally started the company, like your dreams then and your dreams now?
The vision hasn't changed at all. I think we just wanted to make a product that started with, we independently came up with the idea separately. For me, it was I had this YouTube channel where I was doing like programming videos, coding videos. For me, like editing those videos was such a pain because I had to like pauses and stuff. So I wrote a small Python script which calculated the sound levels and made those cuts, but I never deployed them. That was like 6 years ago. And then in 2020, I think that's when we came up with the first version with Doug. And it hasn't changed though. The vision hasn't changed at all. It's the same thing. Just make a product that can edit video really fast. It's called TimeBolt because the whole idea is that we don't want to use TimeBolt for a long time. Get your work done and get out. Like that's the whole idea.
That's well said. That's well said. And it has, Quinston comes from a YouTube background, right? Like he has a couple thousand subscribers on YouTube. And I come from an enterprise video background, right? Work related. So you would really call this a rapid video editor for work in YouTube. I also make YouTube video. I think content across the spectrum, but it really is just how quickly can you edit video for work in YouTube? And I think with the addition of the capture piece, our goal is we're like Loom, but actually watchable. Now you can send a link super easy inside TimeBolt. Of course, we don't do all the cute emojis like, hey, I saw your video and I really like this part. That's not important. What's important is being able to not look foolish on camera. And when you send somebody a video, their eyes don't roll in the back of their head because you're so damn slow, right? And you don't even know if somebody's watching it. I think it's just knowing that you can get in and out and look smarter and faster than real life and be persuasive with video as a communication medium.
And Doug, just to record what you said in regards to Loom and stuff, your product is really kicking it right now with your new video capture. And Loom has been out of my workflow for the last 2 weeks, and I don't miss it at all. So nice job. I appreciate it.
Nice.
One reason that TimeBolt is focused on speed is also because we don't use transcriptions for the cutting process itself, because transcriptions take a lot of time. We imagine the fact that the custom algorithm that we have developed so fast that it takes like a 1 hour file and drops it into your timeline in less than that's the whole focus. It needs to be really fast because if you transcribe a 1 hour file, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take at least 30 minutes to transcribe that file. By the time that time is finished with TimeBolt, you have just already edited the file. Speed is very important when it comes to editing with TimeBolt.
Absolutely. And the last thing that I wanted to bring up with you, Arliss, is the fact that we know that it's going to be important for mobile, okay, is punch automation. We've been getting a lot of requests for punch automation and like comments on our YouTube videos and stuff like that. Because right now what you can do, okay, is still much faster than doing any type of keyframes. Okay, I can hit the letter P, and cycle zoom areas. I can then hit P and Alt or Option, depending on what you want to do, and zoom into specific parts of the screen, right? So I can show people where to focus. If this is here and this is here, you can see that like they jump.
So I'm going to include the bottom the links to our.
Oh wow! So it's implemented in the timeline in the edit.
Exactly.
Oh, that's crazy. That's wild.
So like, let's say I wanted to like look at this thing right here. This is work, right? Work related. Quinson, I'm telling you, the punches are really big hit with in the work.
20 megs. You're able to choose
just jumps between jump cuts, right?
It's going to end up about 10 to 20 megs.
See, I'd put a split there at some point, probably to show you something. But then if you've got like a talking head that's in the middle, currently you can go and say, okay, this is what I want my default to be. I want it to be like 108 and 120, and maybe this is like 130. So that then when I'm like, if you're zooming in, you can keep your head. If you got a middle talking head video, you can keep your head in the middle of the screen. What we're looking to do, especially for like gaming and mobile, imagine being able to just set those up and just run punch automations. Every time that there's a cut right here, changes the punch based on a macro. You basically are going through and are approving the punch versus actually putting them in. As opposed to putting them in, you might be removing 5% that don't make sense. So that saves a lot of time, especially you want to keep that stuff real punchy for mobile.
So I didn't catch how many customers like actively use TimeBolt, just out of wondering.
We had what I'll tell you.
Oh, because I'm just wondering, because I didn't find it easily, and I mentioned it to a lot of people, so I didn't know like how mainstream of a product that it is, or if I just happen to be talking to people that just haven't heard about it.
You have to know, you have to believe for any one of these tools, you have to know that there's a solution. Like you have to invent the solution in your mind before going out and finding it, right? Because a lot of people are just, how do I edit video? Well, some people that edit video are going through and spending 2 hours looking at audio waveforms going blank space, cut, blank space. And they're like, is there a thing to cut dead air? If you look something up like that, we're easily found. But that means you got to know that there's a solution. That's why when we're coming out with Capture and these tools, we really want to get people right when they're first starting. It becomes its own for talking head video editing. That's how we're working. We have around 6,000 people, 6,000 customers that have exchanged money with us. And we've got around 1,700 active paying subscribers, over that in lifetimes customers.
Okay.
Over 200.
There's one specific problem too that I have with some React videos when I film. And the biggest problem that I have is being able to cut it in 15-second intervals to make sure that I'm not in trouble with copyright, because you have to make sure it's fair use, right? So that's the biggest problem that I have. Is it possible that I can use the marking feature to or the cutting feature really, really quickly? So if I film a video and I export it in there, I can go through and just quickly like create the cuts and then easily export the file, correct?
You'll have to manually press the S key, make a cut. Yeah.
So you can't do it in TimeBolt really fast?
Not for the cutting purpose. You have to, there is a key called S. Whenever you're playing the file, press S, keep playing it again. Press S, keep playing it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a feature that would be hard to like implement in a future version of TimeBolt?
I don't think so. It depends on how many people want it.
We're dealing with
all those people make those type of videos want it, because in most cases I'm having to hire editors to make sure that those cuts are being made.
Can you send me an example of what type of cut you'd make? Because it's not going to be like just a cut, right? It's going to be cut, then you're going to take some space out, then cut again. It's going to be two cuts. So is there like when you're making that cut, going through the same video file, right?
So like if I put
but that's okay. It counts.
Example, like if I put the video in Final Cut and I am sitting there and I'm just like, oh, well, let me cut this part out. Boom. And then another like 15 seconds to 20 seconds go by. Oh, let me cut this part out. And then let me keep doing that throughout the whole video. The only parts I'm not cutting out is where I'm talking about this.
I don't think that would be possible, but I think that would cause too many issues with the UI, because you will need some way to put that inside the user interface, right? We want to keep it as like lean as possible. So adding like custom features like that might just, but I'll look into it, because if you said that a lot of people would want something like that, then it could be a useful feature.
There's
And
Quinston.
what's cool is that you guys can detect the noise, like the dead
of course.
points can be cut out too, on top of like just the talking parts. Of course, you can add captions.
My only concern is that so I think one way you can achieve it with TimeBolt anyway, but I don't think you're going to pause the file while it's playing, right? So one thing is like TimeBolt basically turns dead air into a cut, right? So while you're playing the file, while you're making the recording, you can just pause everything and then wait for like a second and then start playing again, because that would automatically be a cut.
Hey guys, people, I'm back.
Hold on, let me. I want to send you this link in the Zoom.
Okay.
I'm really interested in hearing your edit reaction video for YouTube video. Like there's some good. I put it in the link, and I'm trying to see. Let's see if this has any relevance to what he's talking about, because I think it does.
Do you use multiple audio tracks for recording when you do React?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Do you use multiple audio tracks when you do your recording?
Multiple audio tracks. So when I record on OBS or wherever I record that reaction video, I make sure that the video is within the videos. It's not two separate videos. I used to do that, but like with tools evolving over time, now I'm able to record the reaction video within my camera hood. I could use your guys' screen recorder to do the same thing.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm talking about is, so when you import the file into Premiere Pro, do you see one audio track, or there are two audio tracks, three audio tracks? Is your voice on a different track?
It's all in one video file. It's
just one track.
One track.
But it's as easy as changing just the tracks. Like if you're going to edit auto reaction videos, do it inside OBS. Okay, like we don't have multiple ways to create multi-track audio in our capture yet, right? But the thing is that if you do it that way, you might be able to then just cut to your voice and add 15 seconds on the end. And
I don't think that's required for his use case. That's the thing.
I just sent the video so you guys kind of have an example of what I'm talking about. Like, if you see it.
So the initial feature that you mentioned, we could look into it, but I'm probably not gonna promise that it's gonna come out. I'm not gonna commit to it. But what I said earlier, like what you could do is while you're recording the video, if you probably watch the whole thing from the start to the end, but if you do want TimeBolt to automate that for you while the video is playing, just pause it for like a second and then play it again. Pause it for a second, play it again. So those cuts are just because anything that's not sound is a cut.
Anything that's not sound is a man.
I think you just pause it while you're watching the video. You can just pause it.
Yeah, 15 seconds after you say something, because however long you'll count it in your head. That's a good point, Quinston. Because
anything that's not sound is a cut, essentially.
That's genius, because like what I could do is like when I record the video on OBS, I can just make those cuts in the video while I'm editing in Final Cut or something. Cut the sound out for those parts of that video I want cut out, so I don't get like copyright for putting the whole video in the video, and then bam, TimeBolt automatically cut it out because of sound, no sound.
Yeah,
you just know what he's saying. What he's saying though.
I'm saying while you're recording, you just pause the video. Are you live on Twitch or YouTube while you're doing that, while you're recording the video?
So sometimes that's the problem.
Okay. I don't think that would work for you if you're live on. So yeah, the Final Cut thing would work for you because no sound is a cut.
Okay, that's perfect. That was an easy solution. So I'm glad you guys verified that for me.
When you talk or your audio is on, your video is on. When you stop talking or your video is off, essentially the recording, because that'll be the cut. Linearly as you're capturing that, it only makes sense. You're going to be talking about something, whether you're hit play and have something play for 15 seconds, or you're going to say something and then hit play for 15 seconds. At the end of about your 11th, 13th second, you just go up and hit pause, right? That's something that TimeBolt would be able to make the cuts. And you'll have to figure out, do you want to hit pause after you stop talking, right? Or like, when do you want to hit pause? Because it will, whatever mouse movement you make to hit the pause button, you'll see that in the video, like where the pause happens, right? So you might decide, hey, I want to pause 2 seconds before and then go back and cut 2 seconds out of everything.
And just to add some more context, what happens is with certain reaction channels that create these types of pieces of content, they do that. They don't get in trouble with copyright, but also because we like to do watch parties with some of our viewers, and they pay a subscription on like Patreon. That's why I asked, because we just have to make sure we're compliant with the law and stuff like that as far as copyright.
Makes sense.
Understood.
Do you have any additional questions? We're coming up on time here. Good.
That's about it. I really like the product. I really want to try it out. Is there a possible way that I could get like a free trial or anything like that?
We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work out for you or something like that, we'll give you your money back. But we have $17 a month subscriptions and $97 annuals.
And $17 a month, and that's to use it as much as you want?
No file size limits, nothing like that. It's all powered on your computer.
A lot of value here. I really enjoyed the call. Thank you. I'd love to connect with you guys if that's possible.
Yeah, no, that's what we're here for. it Mac? Do you use a Mac or Windows?
I use both, but right now I'm using a Mac.
Yeah, Capture right now is working. As far as Mac, it has the high and low quality. The Windows, we're working to figure out it only has the standard quality right now. So that's what we're kind of working on as well.
Okay, that's good.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time. Do you guys have any personal information where I could contact you or anything like that?
And get Doug's email if you want.
Yeah, I've got my email. You should, like, when you sign up, it's Doug@TimeBolt.io.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
We've got a community forum and all that kind of stuff.
Dog@timebolt.com.
.io.
.io.
And like for like any like questions or anything like that, please, and you're going to submit any type of support ticket, make sure you kind of watch the support video, capture like your screen and tell me what the issue is, maybe post it to the community forum, because that's how we're able to keep moving forward and building stuff, is at running support tickets, right? Because your problem might be shared with somebody else and we fix these and we're good to go. Join us anytime for office hours as well. We host them every Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Love to have you on, hear about your progress. Awesome, Arliss. Thank you.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Quinson will stay on just a couple minutes after this.
Okay.
Is your food?
I have to go for dinner, but let's wrap it up fast.
All right, great. TJ?
Yeah, no issues here. I just was curious about the GPU thing.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. We haven't really got around to.
No worries. Everything else is running good, Doug. Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Bye. Take care.
And I'll go ahead and sign off here. This is TimeBolt Office Hours for September 14, 2023. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, the notification bell when we go live. And we're out of time. Thank you.